What's going on, guys? Bladezilla here, and today we are taking a look at this extremely special custom-made knife from Igor Oleinikov. I apologize if I don't say the name right, but beautiful Inspirer Solar. And they do make these obviously in a bunch of different varieties, variations, materials, and etc., colors. And if you guys remember, I will have done a video on the Shirogorov Solar, which was a bit of a kind of collaboration piece with him. And, it should look very similar to that knife in the overall design. However, this one's made of carbon fiber, which even adds another layer of pop to it. So today, this is what we're going to be talking about. Pretty cool knife. As a quick reminder, guys, always check out my website, bladezilla.ca. There it is. I just added up the Shirogorov Arctic Dr. Death. That is available, and a bunch of Koenigs, F3s, you name it, it's there. There's a quick shout out. I always get asked for some reason what that website name is. bladezilla.ca. But now that that's out of the way, we're going to talk about this. A super cool knife maker. And it's my first experience on it, so I have yet to even flip this guy. I just took it out of the box. And I'm excited to see what it's all about. So first impressions, let's take a look here. We are dead center. Got a cool clip. I don't know what exactly they did on this one. I think it's like a ceramic bead blast or something. I think I read that somewhere. I think it's a tie clip, ceramic bead blasted, and then you've got like an ano kind of etched in there, and that looks awesome. So let's give this a pull. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, heavier action than I was expecting. Very smooth. Very smooth. I believe this guy runs on ceramic bearings. Am I crazy? Could be wrong. You know what? Cancel that. I think they're just regular bearings. Maybe I'm getting things confused in my head with the ceramic bead blast on this. It's probably just standard metal ball bearings. We've got titanium. So it looks like the same material as the clip, so a ceramic bead blast on the titanium back spacer there, which is done very well. Nice little cutout for a lanyard hole. But when you roll it, it kind of hides it a little bit, which is nice. Now, another thing, as you can kind of see, I don't know if I need to explain this, but this little pivot here is supposed to be the sun. And as the planets go out, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, I believe those are all different materials as well. Now, I don't know exactly what each one is, but I have heard they are different materials on each. And that's part of the beauty of these, is that each knife is a little bit different as that inlay is done. Just a little bit different. That's so cool. And you can kind of see the solar kind of pattern here, the rotation, the gravitational progression of each there. Nice little ring that's kind of put into the inlay. That looks so good. Or into the carbon. I believe, is it Saturn that has the rings? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, yeah. So they've done a little ring around there as well, which is cool. Beautiful. We have our moon. Yeah, we have our little moon hiding there. That's a nice detail as well. Just really cool. Huh. Wow. Sometimes I just get lost on just looking at these knives. Just so cool. Another thing. I believe this guy is, it's lightly contoured. So you can kind of see, not only is, they put the pattern in, but there's also, like down here, and up top, there's like a nice 3D bevel cut into this. So if we're looking at it from this direction, I don't know how easily it's going to pick this up, but there is a bit of a contour there, which is nice. So you kind of get a little tiny bit of a bulge down the center, which just fits in the hand beautiful. Ooh, I like that. In terms of action and feel, action's phenomenal. Zero jimping, as my bro Knife Nerdery likes to say, who doesn't know who I am. You know, if a knife fits your hand well, you don't require jimping. This is a beautiful work of art of a knife, and I can't see people using this with a pair of work gloves, and if they are, I'm a little scared. A little scared to hear why they're using it like that. But anyway, fits nicely. There's nothing crazy here. This is a dress knife, in my opinion. A proper dress, very light, slim, nice, beautiful blade, and that's smooth, just smooth as heck. The blade itself is obviously a work of art as well. It's got a nice grind to it here that's like horizontal. I just want to get some fingerprints off of this guy to kind of just show. Ooh, it's very, it's almost got like a glass blast kind of feel to it. But you can see those grind lines on there, horizontally. If it wants to focus, hopefully you can see them. If not, we'll just cancel the whole video. There we go, that's the right, there we go. It's finally focusing. Very, very cool. You know, I love looking at grind lines like this. You just get lost in them. And in a lot of ways, this really reminds me of the Trevor Burger Urban that I have. In terms of, I was expecting it to feel very similar to that, in terms of the grind lines, but it's actually very smooth. It's almost got that glass-like feel to it. It's done extremely well. And you can get lost in this. Play around with it enough. It's a very light knife. And we're going to go through the measurements on it. So let's do that, but I believe it's a sub 3 ounce knife. It wouldn't shock me if that's what we're working with. I thought I read it was like 2.9 somewhere. Overall length, 8 and maybe a little more than 3/4, 8 and 7/8. You know what, maybe it's a 9-inch knife, depending on how your eye's looking at it. Blade length of 3 3/4, kind of just under 4 to the choil. Sharpened, it's 3 3/4-ish, something like that. Handle, it's a longer handle it looks like, but 5 inches roughly, about that. So add the two up, and we're probably in the ballpark. Hopefully. Now it looks like we obviously have like an inset liner lock. Done very, very well. So this is going to appeal to a lot of lefties. Nice stiff action. Detent wants to just kind of float right home. I don't know if I can fail this. I'm going to try. Best I can. You ready? I'm going to try to fail it. Yeah, I can't. So it's tuned obviously for a full pull, which is nice. And just watch this, watch. Boop. It's nicely hides away. But the beauty of this knife is in the show scale. Let's be completely honest. That's why you buy this knife, is to look at this. It's an incredible work of art. One thing that I'm looking at here, and back to the 3D contouring, you can kind of see, you know, it bevels down, and I don't know how well this is going to come through with the light that's hitting it, because it's a stationary light, but you should see the cutout here, down low, and then again up top, and then it rolls over, all done beautifully well. The one thing that actually, now that I'm thinking about my Sheargoroth Solar, which was pried from my cold dead body, let's be honest. I won't name who, but he's a regular commenter here. I believe the back end of that knife also had the solar pattern on it. Because I remember looking at this, and okay, you get the planets, looks phenomenal as always. But I remember the back had some cool, kind of like the ring patterns on it to match. And I'm not seeing that here, so maybe that's just a sheer Gorov mod, I don't know. Or if the aluminum version does that as well, not too sure. Because they do make a ton of these, not a ton, they do make other models of this in aluminum. Boy, oh boy. Or titanium, what am I saying? Titanium. Wish I could just take that back, but I'm already too deep in the video to cancel what I just said. Let's get rid of this. Now if we look down, tight tolerances. And I love too how the top of the knife even has that same kind of textured, smooth grind horizontal on it. Oh, baby. Up here, nothing really hiding. And then internally, I don't think we're going to have too much going on in here. I can see some of the planets, kind of on how they inlay that. I don't know how they stick that in. I'm going to grab my little light here and take a look at that. Let's take a look down. Actually, it's probably easier to look up at it. See how the planets kind of poke out a little bit? It's an interesting way of doing things, eh? Huh. Super cool. Nothing going on in the back of the back spacer, which is totally acceptable. You know, there's some of the Shiros and stuff, they're starting to do some interesting designs on the underside of that, which is totally unnecessary, but also very cool and highly appreciated from a nerdery perspective. I've got knife nerdery on my mind. Beautiful. Now, I'm not exactly sure. I'm thinking this was M390. I'd have to check the COA, which I'm going to show you because the box and COA that come with this is just a real cool little inclusion. And I'm trying to see, are they putting M390 on this anywhere? Are you guys seeing anything I'm not? I don't see it anywhere. Oh, even down here, look. Behind the flipper tab, it still has that hand kind of grind to it. The same finish on the blade is all the way around this thing. Just nuts. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to get you a weight on this, and then we are going to look at that COA in the box, because I just think it's the coolest thing ever. And I'll use this again here. Any guesses? I think it feels 3 ounces or less. 2.9? Ooh, pretty close. 2.9. And for my Canadian homeboys and girls, 83 grams. It's nothing. That's like bug out kind of territory. So typically you have like your blade length in inches should match your ounces. That's kind of the magic rule of thumb. So this guy's under that, which is pretty phenomenal. And then there's a few other knives that are well under that, like, what's that one? The VC Edge, I think it's called. The carbon fiber blade with the inlaid metal. Oh, cool. Love to see one of those. But anyway, beautiful action. But like I said, typically they would put M390 on here somewhere, and they're not, so, as far as I can see. But it's also kind of hard for me to see behind a camera, so. Yeah. Pocket clip, totally usable, good length. You know, you're less than half the overall length. It, in terms of the depth at which it's going to carry, you're going to have a very minimal amount showing up. It'd be kind of cool if you had that amount, you kind of see the logo from a design perspective. So depending on how much you hang into your pocket, you could totally expose that, which would be a nice little flex on just about everybody. The backspacer lanyard, yeah, absolutely. You know, I love, I have no problems with this, especially because it's not through the handle itself. And I often talk about that on a lot of the sheer grow off videos, which will, well, you know what, why don't I do that right now? So if we look at the Stellar, we can see we got our lanyard hole that's kind of, you know, it's there, but at the same time, it's a bit of an eyesore to some. And, you know, it's not a big deal. But it is through the knife, whereas on the modern F95s, it's built into the backspacer, which I like more. Now Shiro has kind of tucked that in, hidden it, out of sight, out of mind. But most other knives, this is becoming a very common thing to do, is just build that in to the backspacer. I love it. Hardware-wise, looks like we got T8s, maybe even 10s on the back here. It's a little bigger I'm looking at. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. So we've got 1, 2 that screws in, kind of a sandwich on the backspacer. And then I would love to know if this spins or not, or if that's got something holding in place, like a track or a square underneath it or something on the hardware side so it doesn't spin, but looks pretty light. Honestly, this is, in my opinion, a less is more type mentality on a knife. The fact that you remove the jimping from the flipper tab as well and kind of maintain that look all the way around is just kind of telling you what kind of knife it is. Just a work of art. That's all it is. It's a dressy work of art showing, you know, it's a conversation piece. If you slap this down on a table, someone looks at it, they'd probably ask what it is, and you'd be able to kind of start a conversation, talk about the maker, talk about your love for knives, the technology that goes into them, the craftsmanship, you know, where it comes from. I'm going to show you the COA on this while I have it, and I think that's a cool little piece. So they come in these boxes. Small little box, nothing crazy. No marking anywhere. Just a Oleinikov box. And you crack it open, and you get this, right? And this is where the knife would sit wrapped up with the little cloth. But you're like, oh, okay, so I guess there's no COA or anything. But then you open this guy up, and it's like, okay, there we go. How cool is this? Inspirer Solar System C Carbon. Note how system is spelled too. S-I-S-T-E-M. I think that has to be one of the coolest little Easter eggs of this whole experience, because you can kind of feel like the maker, you can hear him saying it. M390. I love the way the 9s are written here. Carbon, titanium. So carbon fiber, titan would be the the mechanism, I would believe. Maker, signature, Igor, handwritten by him. We have his Instagram, his email, which is super cool. And I don't think there's anything on the back. No, just blank. But that is the coolest little Easter egg, the system. I love that. Super cool. I love little details on these types of knives. But I'm not going to flip this a ton or anything like that. I just think it's too cool of a knife. And I brought this in because I was genuinely curious to see how it compared with the solar system that I got from Shirogorov, which is now gone. But I often want to see the original makers. You know, when I went through the R.J. Martin phase, you know, I tracked down a lot of the R.J. Martin knives, and then I tracked down an OEM R.J. Martin custom to take a look at, and I just felt like you kind of owe it to see what the hype is all about and see why, you know, like why is Shirogorov kind of going down the route of, you know, a deal and a collaboration? Like, what's so special about these pieces? And you know, I get it. This is cool. Very well done. That action is just phenomenal. Phenomenal action. And I don't know what they're doing to this blade, but it's like ultra glassy. It feels like it has like a ceramic clear coat or something on it. Like it's just overly polished. Unlike anything I've kind of experienced. And I just love the uniqueness of the custom grind or custom made lines. Like it's just a beautiful piece. Just a stunning piece. Excellent action. While I have this guy out, I'm going to do a couple size comparison for you. So we're going to grab our F95, which I just showed. Beautiful. Size comparison. Overall, they're about the same, but depending on the camera, it's going to look definitely different. And maybe I'll move this guy down to the center. Stellar, which I just showed as well. Stellar's a little chunkier in the handle. Lengthwise, quite a bit smaller, although it looks a little different here. It looks a little comparable. We've got our Neon, or Neon. There we go. Beautiful knife. Beautiful size comparison. We've got, let's do our Bio, which is a little more representative of kind of the handle width, I'd say. But this guy's a little longer, not by much, but just a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with a camera angle. Right now this one looks bigger, so be that as it is. We've got our Kami, not communist, Kami, I don't know what you want to call it. See, these look very similar, right? But they're really not. There you go. Pretty cool. That's probably more representative in the size in that angle. What else do I have here on hand? That would be kind of cool. Our Silk Slim, which is just another F95, which overall is just a much bigger and thicker knife. Slimmer, but honestly, it's funny how you look at the profile from my angle. It's actually sunk down more than this, which is crazy. But thinner handle on the Solar. Beautiful knives. And then finally, if we want to do like a Russian overkill, just as an RJ Martin comparison, we could do that as well. There you go. This guy appears bigger, and it is bigger. Taller blade, taller handle, just overall much burlier of a knife. I'm going to have to find out what kind of action they integrate on this, because I'm curious. It's just, I know they're bearings, but I'm curious what style bearings they are. Very awesome. Some might even say this knife is out of space. It's out there. Though someone might be me. I am not good at the jokes, eh? Can we just admire, you know, a couple things here that I would like to, if I'm changing things from a design perspective? I'd like to see this hardware color kind of maintained. Well, maybe not, actually, now that I think about it, because if you matched the Torx over here with that same color, it would kind of look like they're meant to be something different. So maybe that's not a good idea. And you are matching the hardware here, the tie hardware and the screws. You're putting blue onto the clip in the logo, and you're not putting blue anywhere else, which is interesting. So I wonder why. Like, to match that, wouldn't you put blue inside the bolts? It's silly, but not a big deal. I think we're looking at a master knife maker who absolutely doesn't care what I think about his designs, because I think that he's much better at this stuff than I am. And you know what? I don't think you need to change anything on this. This is a work of art. It has all the right angles. Feels great in hand. You know, what I thought would be a very boxy knife, just based on the profile, if I didn't show you the knife and didn't rotate it around, I'm like, it's going to be boxy, square. It's not at all. It's got a lot of contouring to it. Fits the hand well. Good action. Good blade steel. Great clip. I love that. The fact that it's a liner lock means it's going to appeal to more people. And the fact that it's custom with a cool pattern that a lot of people can relate to the solar system just makes this guy a clear-cut winner. And I think a lot of people are going to dig it. And it weighs nothing, like 2.9 ounces on my scale, whether or not it's 3 ounces or 2.8, whatever. The thing weighs absolutely nothing. Very cool knife. I think it's awesome. And I am going to try to track down another solar Shirogorov as soon as possible. I can't obviously get a fair comparison at this very moment. I wish I could have that one back to do a quick comparison side by side, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Those ones seem to be getting rarer and rarer to find. Sometimes you get lucky. I actually got, if you remember that knife, that was one of the first lotteries I actually won. You go for years entering these things. That was one of my first winning lottery things where it's like, I may as well, and just kind of set it aside, and turns out there's a bit of a demand on them. So there we go. Alright guys, well I appreciate you stopping by, checking out this Igor Oleinikov Inspirer Solar. I think it's a banging knife, and I think everyone will appreciate taking a look at this. It's just so cool. The carbon, all the light, how it's all moving around. Oh, beautiful knife. Check out my website, bladezilla.ca. Constantly changing inventory on there. Despite when I film these videos, I tend to do them in big blocks, and the actual site doesn't change a whole lot, but trust me, it's changing every week. So go there, follow my Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to do. It's cool. Appreciate you guys, and I think that's going to be it for this knife. If you have any questions, comment below, like, subscribe, share, all that. Until next time, we will see you around. Okay? Peace.